All right, everybody. Less than 9 hours away. Less than 9 hours away from another mini Christmas in the NFL offseason calendar. There are all kinds of Christmases for football fans. The start of the preseason, the start of the regular season, the start of the playoffs, the start of free agency, the draft, and then you have June 1st. Now, this is not a Christmas for every team. In fact, for some teams, it's the opposite of Christmas. Some teams are going to have to play the part of Santa Claus giving gifts to other teams. But no matter which team you're talking about, it is a time of great interest. Some teams are going to want to shed players without taking massive salary cap hits that year, and some teams are going to want to capitalize on other teams' desire to not have a big salary cap hit for dumping a player. So hopefully the Seahawks will find themselves in the latter camp as we start these June 1st cuts, but we will see if they're actually able to get anything done. So in less than 9 hours here, it's going to be June 1st, and we should see the dominoes start to fall pretty quickly. The trades for the big ticket players like Julio Jones and Stephon Gilmore could happen very quickly. There's a good chance that the Falcons have already negotiated at least most of a potential Julio trade with somebody, and they're just waiting for post June 1st to be able to execute it. And you're going to see some of the cuts happen pretty quickly in the next couple days as well, because most teams have had plenty of time to decide who they want to let go. Teams have already had the opportunity to look at their rookies and rookie minicamp to say, okay, that guy that guy's ready to become the starter and replace this expensive veteran. So you will probably see some of the dominoes start to fall very quickly tomorrow. By the time we wake up on June 1st, we may already have news about X, Y, and Z. So here's how things are going to work on this channel as long as this post June 1st cut event plays out. As players get cut or traded that have some degree of relevance to the Seahawks, I'll make videos about it. If somebody who I think the team could logically target hits the open market, then I'll go ahead and make a video about it and say, hey, go get that guy. That guy just shook free. He might cost this much. He's going to be better than this player at his position. If you take a look at his career, if you take a look at where he is in his career right now, then it makes a lot of sense why you would go get him, why he would want to come here, why the team would want him. And as the team makes moves, of course, I'll make videos about that. I won't be making a video about every player that gets cut or traded, of course, because most of these players I couldn't care less about. Like if Tim Tebow gets released by the Jaguars, then yeah, I don't care about that. I'm not making a video about that. But if Julio gets traded to the Titans, then I might go ahead and say, "Hey, party's over." I know we were all kind of excited for a few days there, but party's over. If Fletcher Cox gets released and then signs with a team like the Titans, then I might make a video saying, "Oh man, that sucks. That's too bad. We should have taken a bigger swing at him." But it's going to be specifically stuff that relates to the Seahawks and what they might be interested in. So definitely keep an eye on that in the coming days. There are all kinds of players that are going to shake free. Remember, the cap went down this year. So teams' desire to save money is never going to be more extreme than it is this season. The cap is going to blow up in 2022, but right now, it's not as much as teams were expecting to have. So you're going to see a lot of players get released or traded that you weren't expecting for the simple reason that the team needs to save money. Um, does a team like Arizona want to get rid of Chandler Jones? Absolutely not. But he's due a big salary. You can save most of that money if you release him after June 1st, or I guess trade him. And he did just have a severe injury last year that could change the way he plays football. So don't be shocked. And as for the players who are available, You have to keep in mind, a lot of these guys are veterans. A lot of these guys have already made their money. They've made whatever money they're going to make in the NFL, they're already there. Guys like, I used Geno Atkins as an example the other day of a player who's already made $100 million and is in a different phase of his career. But Fletcher Cox, Julio Jones, Stephon Gilmore, these guys have already made significant amounts of money in their career, and their priorities going forward might be a little different. They might be thinking, I just want to go somewhere I feel like I can win. I want to go somewhere where I'm going to have fun. I want to go somewhere where it makes sense. Maybe I want to be closer to home. Maybe I want to be live on the beach. The priorities for players at this phase of their career, if they're facing these post June 1st cuts, it might be different. It might not just be who can offer the most money. You never know. All right, so that's basically how things are going to work on this channel during the post June 1st phase. We do have OTAs as well. I will be making videos about that as we get updates, but shouldn't be any issue with me splitting my focus between those two different things. They're both very significant to this team. I know that Pete Carroll said it was unlikely that they would be signing anybody until after training camp started because he wanted to get a look at the players that we have, which, I mean, nothing holds him to that, right? Nothing is forcing him to do that. I do understand that he's thinking like, okay, before I trade for Stephon Gilmore, I want to get a good look at Ahkello Witherspoon and DJ Reed and see what they have. Before I go out and get Fletcher Cox, I want to see if Al Woods has anything left in the tank because he didn't even play football last year. But that's definitely a dangerous way to play. That's one way to have all the good players be gone by the time you start actually shopping around. So I hope that that's just something that you say when you're not sure if anything's going to happen, because there are definitely some players who I think could definitely help this team a lot in 2021. And I would hate for it to be something like, oh, we thought about trading for Julio, but I didn't want to do it until I get a chance to see Cade Johnson in camp. And then Cade Johnson is who we thought he was, which is a UDFA with some future promise. And then Julio already went somewhere else. And you're like, oh, crap. But anyway, we will see if Pete is true to his word of not adding any players until after camp starts and he gets a chance to look at them. Kind of another reason why it's a little bit frustrating to me that these players didn't show up to camp, but it is what it is, and it probably won't be that big of a deal. But yeah. Players of interest to the Seahawks if they end up on the market. I mean, I've already made hours worth of videos about this topic, but off the top of my head, the big ones are Julio, Fletcher Cox, Stephon Gilmore. I'm personally not big on Gilmore, but some people are, and I understand it. Um, Jason Kelsey, if he shakes free in Philadelphia. Chandler Jones, if Arizona decides to let him go. I mean, there are a ton of guys. There are a ton of guys. I'm not going to sit here and list all of them when I've done that in the past, but definitely keep an eye on the wires starting tomorrow. Let's see who shakes free and let's see who we can go after. And don't worry about the money. The money is there. I've been over this before. I will say it again. The money is there. The only question is which players are actually going to help this team win in 2021. All right, see you guys later. Peace out. Go Hawks. See you on stream in a bit. But yeah, that's how things are going to work for the next week or so, or however long it takes for this drama to play out. And I will be seeing you guys tomorrow morning. Peace out. Go Hawks.